Hey, what's going on, guys? Games here. BBC version 1.2 has just been released, so feel free to test it basically. And in this video, I just want to make a quick catch up on what then has changed within the source code. I didn't really make any tutorials on making those changes because they would be quite pretty boring and not really interesting to watch, because it's like not educated that much, but rather some sort of just a matter of being accurate basically, and trying not to produce some new bugs. So one of the important things that the forfeit on time with 1 second increment bug was revealed by I guess Brian Richardson is the name of the guy who has done that and issued this sort of a bug on GitHub basically here. But yeah, I've just closed the issue because the current version seems to be working. Yeah, so the issue has just been closed. Okay, so another important thing here. So I've restored and even slightly improved the evaluation features like bone structures, mobility, and kin safety. So at the very end it should be slightly stronger than the version 1.1. And without further ado, let's actually walk through the source code to visually see those updates, and then at the very end of this video I would like to say a couple more words, and this is it basically. So if we just go back to the source code, now within the repo we have this 3 versions. So I've deleted version 1.2 alpha and 1.2 beta because they were just the intermediate versions. Also, again, like if you didn't yet see this readme file within the source folder, so you see the every version update log is being described here as well. And another thing that I don't know, probably I forgot to say that, maybe not, I'm not sure. If we just have a look at our read hash, well, even better, I believe, to go to Nigamax directly. Yeah, so I've replaced this PV length initializer from down below of the repetition detector to the very top of the Nigamax search. And without this, the problem was that sometimes QChess command line interface tool reported an illegal move in the principal variation, and that obviously was happening because we didn't reset and reinitialize this PV length properly. But now when it's on its place where it has to be, basically now no more illegal moves in the principal variation are detected, which is good. So maybe I was telling this already, I don't remember really, but anyway. So another thing to consider, if we just go to our parse go function here down below, I've added a couple more lines of code here. No, actually I've added only this one line. So this line fixes the bug of actually losing on time when you have kind of 0 time and let's say 1 second increments. So the reason for why that was happening is due to because actually, to be honest, I'm not sure why that was happening, but I just know that now kind of works. So I've removed the time from calculating the stop time, because it assumes that if we just less than this value in milliseconds, that means that the time shouldn't be taken into account no longer. And also this -50 creates a buffer, so if there is any lag or delay between the GUI and the engine, so it won't really be losing on time in that case. So now this line actually kind of works. And the very last but not least is, so let's go to our evaluation. Really lots of stuff has been changed there in the evaluation. Just okay. So here I have added some penalty and bonuses values from the fruit chess engine, as suggested by Pedro Castro, by the way. Very nice tips. So, and probably, yeah, this download penalty, now this values are my own, I believe, but I've slightly decreased them. Decreased the double pawn penalty and slightly increased the isolated pawn penalty. Pass pawn bonus is still the same. Semi-open and open file are the same. Yeah, and this values are from the engine fruit, and it's kind of reloaded version, which is now being developed, I believe. So, and now the mobility is being calculated not just by adding the count of squares where piece can go, but using a formula where we taking the piece count, subtracting the piece unit value from it, and multiplying by the value of the mobility, either for endgame or for the opening for a current given piece. So now just want to show you how it looks. Yeah, and obviously I also did restore all the stuff that regards to evaluating the bone structure, obviously, and can save it a little bit. So yeah, here it is. So we just uncommented the code, slightly changed this, so we're keeping track of the opening and the end game score every time. Also, the way of calculating double pawns has been changed a little bit, so I'm just subtracting one pawn from the count of pawns, because just to avoid giving a penalty twice to that pawn. And what else? So this is all the same. Yeah, just two scores are maintained, just like for all the other scores, and then at the very end they would get interpolated. And here for bishops and queens, well, even though fruit uses this mobility not only for bishops and queens but also for rooks and for literally for all the pieces, even pawns, if I'm not mistaken. But I just really wanted to keep things simple as it was in the initial implementation, and that's the reason for not including those mobility to rooks and kings as well. And another idea is you can't just take the values straight ahead, put them into your engine, and hope for the better. Well, actually, that is what I did, but still, it's not really done that way. And the way it's done, you need to fine-tune the evaluation function. But as far as that involves some complicated algorithms that I can't really understand that great at the moment, I just limited myself with this blind usage of penalty and bonuses, which just gives a slight advantage to the plane strength, but not the 100% of what it could give, basically. So that's some sort of a limitation. And if one day I would master those machine learning stuff like logistic regression and things like that, not at the current level I'm now understanding it, but at the level that it needs to be obtained in order to let's say implement the so-called Taxel tuning method, like was applied in the Taxel chess engine initially to fine-tune the various evaluation features. So in that case, that would make sense. But with my current understanding, it doesn't make sense. I'm just too dumb to implement that. Okay, so for rook, we just still have this opening and semi-opening scores, both for opening and endgame as always. And for queen, we have this a bit updated formula for queen mobility, just like we did that within the bishops. That's kind of it. So nothing really much to make a tutorial on, so it's all quite pretty self-explanatory, I hope and believe. So this is kind of it. And at this stage, I feel like the initial goal that I had when I started this series is actually reached, because I was trying to make a chess engine so simple that even co-monkey king like me would understand like what's going on under the hood while reading the source code. So I've never seen chess engines where every single line of code is being commented, to giving commentaries to every single line of code, and I think that making this sort of an engine would really help for those who is as dumb as I am to try to master this chess programming from scratch. So that was the initial idea. And what I've noticed from noticed from this development process, like it's really interesting in terms of it's incredibly easy to, well, not incredibly easy, well, let's say it's easy to and it's interesting and it's entertaining to show the process of chess engine strength is growing from, say, 1600 elo points to, let's say, 2000 elo points or 2000s. That's quite pretty exciting, because you're adding features one by one, and every next feature you add, you can visually see the growth of the strength, and that's really exciting to watch and to make those tutorials as well, obviously. But when it comes to this minor adjustments, to this minor refactorings and things like that, the gain of elo strength is not that significant. So probably, I think that version 1.2 is about 50 elo points stronger compared to version 1.1 because of this pawn and mobility and king safety features being added again, being restored basically. But again, it's not really that seen much, so you really need to test the current version of the engine versus the previous version, really to play kind of lots of games in order to make sure that the changes actually make sense. So the further the development goes, the more it's the matter of long testing and quite pretty short code adjustments. Well, maybe not that short, maybe there is obviously lots of things to refactor in the source code always, but again, I hope you understand my initial goal. So my initial goal was actually to give the simplest code possible, and that was the real goal actually. And I think that this is the simplest code, of a chess engine, of at least say of this sort of a strength. But I've seen weaker engines that had more complicated code than this one. So I think this code is probably really the easiest to understand. So probably I will need to mention that explicitly on GitHub to give it more idea, to give an idea for the first time viewers of the repo that how this chess engine stands out. It stands out because it's written in incredibly easy C programming language. So very simple constructs, really simple, written really simply. So that was the idea. And from now on, it's a bit tricky. So, by the way, probably I forgot one more important thing. So this is it regarding the source code. And if we just go back to the repo itself, I don't remember if I did already show this or not, but I've added Gaber Schatz, the guy from CCRL testing group, into the commentary, into the credits section, because thankfully to Gaber, BBC got its initial rating of 1957 while playing more than 300 games, which I would never done probably. So thanks to Gaber so much. And at the moment, Gaber is testing the latest version, this one that this video is dedicated to, and hopefully this version, well, in my dreams it should be about 200 elo points stronger. On the real deal, it would be nice if it would be at least 150 elo points stronger. So we'll see. So I think this would be something like 2175, something like that, but we'll see. Because like when I was predicting this rating, I thought that it would be like 1950, so it was actually 1957, so it's quite pretty close to what the actual rating was achieved at the very end. And again, thanks to Gaber, like we had a conversation in private messages on Talk Chess with Gaber, and I asked him like, what's the idea behind testing the chess engines, and he replied with a very touching message that I'm not obviously gonna be reading here because I think it's private, maybe not nothing much there, but still. But I just wanna give a quote for one of the thoughts he shared. So he said that once the author of the chess engine Comet, if I'm not mistaken, that was the name of the chess engine, actually wrote to Gaber that if not Gaber's tournament, that he would already drop the development of his chess engine Comet. And there is something similar compared to what I can say. So, like if not Gaber's tournaments, I would probably drop at this moment because the goal that I was actually aiming initially is now satisfied, and I can't see any sense in making it stronger. Even though this is the very first time in my life when I actually can make it stronger, believe it or not. Because when I dropped my previous engines, I did that because I couldn't make them stronger. But this BBC has potential. I don't really want to say some words without some backgrounds behind them. But I believe that with the current implementation, at least 2500s is possible for BBC if just to keep working on it. But well, obviously it takes really lots of time and efforts to achieve that, and I can hardly believe that I would be doing that. But still, this tasks that are done by Gaber really motivates developers to actually keep going, keep the development process going on. So that's kind of it. So hopefully I will keep the development on, maybe not that fast as it was before, and most likely the format of the updates in this series would be like quick catch-up videos highlighting the changes that were made in the source code, so you could have stayed tuned, and so if you don't understand the changes on your own when seeing the updated source code, the video would serve the purpose of explaining what exactly has been changed and why, and how it affects the behavior and the strength of the chess engine. So that's the idea. So quick catch-up videos, like what has been changed, is my current idea of the future format of the videos within this BBC chess engine series. So that's kind of it. And on the other hand, I have some new ideas because it's a bit tricky when you kind of like if you just what I can say that when I was doing chess programming only for my own, I didn't go that far, and only when I started making this for other people, not for my own but for other people like you guys, I realized that I went much further compared to where I was when I was doing this for myself. So I would say, like, if I was doing this for myself, I would drop kind of a long time ago. But as far as I'm doing this for you, I still keep going. So still, so the development process is going on basically, and this is also the same for the other possible kind of like, I don't know, playlists, projects on this channel. So I have many ideas. Unfortunately, without feedbacks, it's really hard to pick up the right direction. But anyway, my idea is trying to make videos on something that you guys actually interested in, and not in something that I am interested in, because I've realized that I'm interested in doing something that you're interested in, and otherwise it doesn't really make that big sense to me at all. So some of the ideas to share. So one of the ideas, like I've been mentioning before, is maybe create some new format, like playlists with engine overview videos, like going to the engine's website, grabbing the source code, walking through the features and highlights, then try to compile and try to run the perf test, maybe try and walk through the source code to have an idea of how the mode generator is done, what is the board representation, what kind of search techniques are involved, and how exactly they work, some evaluation highlights, maybe like what in particular is getting evaluated and how exactly, and so on. Well, obviously at this moment, the strength limit for the engines for the potential candidates for this like overviews won't be smart like stronger than probably 2200s or 2300s, because those engines are too complicated for me to read their source code. But engines like BBC, like WISE, like TSCP, and like maybe slightly stronger, I guess that's quite pretty okay for me, because a good news that say a year ago I couldn't understand what's going on in the source code of the chess engine Fruit. While if I'm looking at the Fruit source code now, I clearly understand like what's going on there, and it's kind of like I feel that I can just grab the parts from Fruit and trying to change them slightly a bit and embed into my engine. But like I don't really see much sense in doing that, because what's the reason for developing a weaker and more weird version of Fruit when Fruit exists on its own? So I can't really see much sense in that. But at the same time, it's incredibly important to learn from other engines. And let's say Fruit is one of the best ever written examples, one of the best ever didactic chess engines I've ever seen, at least. And many guys who has developed stronger engines than Fruit actually knew its code from the beginning and up to the very end. So they were working that source code out really heavily, and that helped them to learn some basic concepts on chess programming in general. So I think this might be quite pretty useful to make this like overviews of the chess engines, to have them as a source of an inspiration of where to proceed and how exactly. Another issue that without having a clear understanding of why exactly you are doing this, why you're writing chess engines, it's incredibly hard to proceed, because if you have some simple goal like I did, like try to make a simple engine that would be easy to understand to anybody, it turned out that it's getting achieved too fast, and now I'm kind of like not sure what am I supposed to be doing next. On the other hand, if you will set the goal like to beat Stockfish, you would probably never reach that point, because that's incredibly hard. So the truth should be somewhere in between, I believe. Not sure where exactly, but I believe it should be somewhere in between these two kind of like points, like point A and point B. Anyway, I just feel a bit depressed now, because I have really no idea like where and how exactly to proceed. But anyway, so this was this is one of the ideas. Just make this chess engine overview videos. Another idea might be to work on some machine learning projects, like some chess related statistics and analytics. I've been trying that stuff already. So what I achieved so far, I managed to calculate the piece weights based on the PGN analysis, and also calculating the win rate for every given square for every given piece, using the logistic regression tricks again. And I was hoping actually to use to convert those percentage values to logistic regression coefficients, and then use them directly as the positional square tables in my engine. But the values are either weird, or maybe I did something wrong, but they don't really seem to be applicable directly straight ahead. So probably they need to be worked out a little bit to fit this purpose or something. I'm not really that sure. But anyway, the matter of creating so-called heat maps, like the values, like you have the 64 squares, and every square has the value of how many times a piece moved to this square, or how many times the piece has been captured in this square, and statistics like that might be really interesting. And also I feel like like I was trying to avoid machine learning and statistics and analysis as a freelancer as long as I could, but actually life takes me to that field regardless of what I want. So it seems like I'm doomed to start learning and applying machine learning to chess, and that's the reason. That's another reason to go for that. And also, I realized that probably one of the most important things when you're doing machine learning is you really need to care about the data, because all the modern tutorials saying like, let's just take some algorithms from the existing libraries, just apply them and you're done. But without actually understanding the data, without taking care about the data, it's not machine learning. It's just I don't know, just some blind copy pasting or things like that. So if you can visually see, if you can visually have a look at the data and say like, is this data looks like to be truth or not, then whatever results you'll get, they don't really make much sense, because without that understanding, you can't be truly responsible for the output of your code. Hence you don't have a right to ask for getting paid for that job. So that's my personal opinion, not trying to insist that you should take this. So this is just my personal opinion. That's kind of it. Another idea of the future videos might be like creating some command line interface scripts, most likely using Python, with the functionality similar to well-known QChess command line interface, but with the difference that instead of using the command line parameters, just try to make just try to source all the settings from the JSON file, which to me personally this seems having much more sense actually. And if we have a Python script that actually is capable of taking two chess engines and implementing the basic USI commands to make those chess engines play versus each other, and have some possibilities to store the PGN log, to the print logs to the text files and things like that, that might make sense as well, at least for the testing purposes. And at the very end, it might be also interesting to build, based on that command line app, to run the engines. It's also possible to build some sort of a GUI, and I would prefer the web-based GUI Flask web application in particular, because I'm proficient in that technology as a freelancer. So having some sort of a site running locally with the ability to either play versus engine, or trying to make two engines playing versus each other, or having some analytics tabs to analyze PGN files, so things like that. This might be interesting, at least in theory. Well, at least I think this might be interesting. But again, like, it would be really nice if you guys give me some feedbacks regarding this thoughts of mine. So that's kind of it. And one last and probably the most important update, that this Saturday a new mic is arriving. So I just bought the mic that you can fix right over in here, and the sound kind of goes closer to the mic, because now I don't have a mic basically. I'm just talking to my laptop, so just near the camera right over here. So here is the hole for a mic, and some of you guys complained that the sound actually is not that great. So I hope that with this new mic the sound quality would be much better. So maybe at least that would motivate you to keep watching my tutorials. Okay guys, so I think this is it from my side. I would really appreciate you so much if you just leave commentaries. The more commentaries the better. Some commentaries regarding the future of this channel, like what kind of content you would like to see, to follow, and things like that. So that's incredibly important for me, guys, and I really hope to get some feedbacks from you. So this is it from my side. Hope to see you in the next videos on this channel. Until that time, and take care.